have 8 new paintings at Canfas at the moment. They are the work of the last year. So I started off again walking and I went through the landscapes. I went back to the landscapes I most cherish because we'd been through our lockdown period, and I went back to those spaces, and I ended up spending a bit of time on the coastline between Strumblehead and St David's. So this is Pushderry, and I should say that these are landscapes that begin in the places, but they're not completely accurate or representational. They are the memory of the place. That I bring those memories and sometimes sketches and certainly colour references, and I bring those back to the studio. So this is one of the bigger pieces. There are two big pieces, and they were done at the end of the process. I started off with a group of small paintings, but they are very much part of a series. So yeah, I think maybe we'll go in and have a look at those small ones. I love going this exhibition in this house, I love it. So they're starting to tell a story, and these two pieces here, so this one is the summer in near Pengetty. It's a beautiful woodland, and it's it's a quite a popular place to go, but also you never see anyone when you're inside the woods. So this is looking out from a field across to Pengetty, and this was end of the summer, and then this piece over here is the springtime, and it's the memory of Gavin Vawr, which is this lovely mountain just between Mathry and Fishguard, very close to Pushderry. So again, I've been in those spaces, I'm experiencing them, I spend time in them, I sit and I look at what's around me, I look at the small parts, what I'm sitting on, what's near me, what wildlife is, what birds I can hear, and then I come back and I create the scene from that memory. But I've also been bringing the objects with me. So there are objects in these two pieces. One is a hyacinth on the windowsill, and there's a little set of bulbs. So I am actually inside a space, and in that respect, these works follow on from the show that I had here last year, where I was very much rooted inside an interior landscape looking out. Now I'm inside, but I'm bringing those objects back into the scene. So the small one, maybe we should talk about those. These are all landscapes with still life, but they're all areas between here and St David's. And they're all certain times where I've had an enjoyable experience, or I've gone by myself to have time out. I think I've just called these landscape with still life, but that one you've just looked at there is at Pushderry. We've got above Canol Woods. This one is looking out across the Preselles, and this little one. And we've got things like, we've got grapes on a plate here, and textiles that I've been using, bits of cloth and things that I brought along with me. And we've got paper cups and a tabletop from that one. So they're just things they're objects that I'm using, and they've become part of the paintings. And then the two big ones, something quite exciting was happening with the bigger ones. I remembered how I used to paint large, and how the objects were part of the picture that helped lead the viewer through. So I've got small cups and still life here, and I've got a space, a setting that's set for company. But I'm also using a Welsh blanket motif, the pattern of which is going through the picture into the Preselles. A landscape that in itself is ancient and scattered with prehistory and bits of structures that man has left behind, and sheep farming. So this one is called Tapestry Road. And maybe I'll go back to this one, because this is almost like it's on its own. But this again, this is part of the same coastline, but it's left over of the World War II bunker. And I've got my windowsill, my objects, my books, things that are signs of spring that are happening in the landscape. But once again, I've created a bunker for myself. This view they don't really exist together. There's a landscape and there's a building, and I got quite excited about that because this doesn't exist either, but it was left behind from a World War II lookout shelter, and then just become overgrown. It's become part of the landscape, but I get really excited about walking through and seeing bits of leftover wall or bits of signage that just becomes part of what is now our landscape.